Greetings children, today we are going to learn a new poem. The name of the poem is The Voice of the Rain. It is written by Walt Whitman. It is for class 11 CBSE students. It's a simple poem, only 12 lines are there. But aesthetically the poem is number one. So we can call it a lovely poem. Why it is lovely? Because of the content in it. In this poem, the poet makes a conversation between rain and the poetry. That is very interesting. In that conversation, the rain reveals that it is the poem of the earth. So, the intention of the poet is very clear. He compares rain with poetry. Then he gives us its functions. Both what are the functions of rain and indirectly the functions of poetry. As the poem moves forward, we can find that rain is used in this poem as a metaphor for poetry. That is the brilliance of Walt Whitman. Now we can learn a little bit about the author before we moving on to the poem. Let us go. Walt Whitman, an American poet of the 18th century. He is also called the father of free verse. So what is this free verse? When a poem is written without any meter, without any rhyme scheme, then it is called free verse. We can learn about this 18th century American poet through two of his quotations from two different poems. The first one is happiness not in another place but this place, not for another hour but for this hour. Through this line he expresses his philosophy of life, that don't seek happiness for other places. Where we are now, that is the place where we have to find happiness. And the moment we live, look at the next quotation. It is from his famous poem Leaves of Grass. We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race. And the human race is filled with passion. So, medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. So the two parts of human perceptions, necessities, he brings out through these lines. Now let us move on to the poem. The Voice of the Rain, written by Walt Whitman. The Voice of the Rain, written by Walt Whitman. And who art thou, said I to the soft falling shower, which, strange to tell, give me an answer, as here translated. I am the poem of the earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal, I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. Upward to heaven, whence vaguely formed, altogether changed and yet the same. I descend to love the droughts, atomize dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. And forever, by day and night, I give back life to my own origin and make pure and beautify it. For song, issuing from its birthplace after fulfillment, wandering, rugged or unrugged, duly with love returns. Now look at the explanation. And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower, which strange to tell, give me an answer, as here translated. The poem begins with the poet's question to the rain. Who art thou? Which means, who are you? This question is raised by the poet, and the soft falling shower, which gave me an answer. That answer was very strange. This question he asked the rain, and the rain gave him an answer. But the answer was so strange because the rain conveyed its message through its own language, not the language of the common man. Only a poet could understand that language, that emotional, sensitive language of the rain. So, in the next line, he says, translated, and here translated, I am the poem of the earth. This is the answer the rain gave the poet. It is the poem of the earth, said the voice of the rain. This is what the voice of the rain said there. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. Then the rain narrates its history. Eternal. That rain is always eternal. It is timeless, like a poem, like a song, like a poem. It is eternal, timeless, everlasting, and it rises impalpable. Nobody can see, nobody can touch. It is raised out of the land and the bottomless sea. So it originates from the land and the sea, then upward to heaven, whence vaguely formed. Then it rises to heaven. At that time, at the time of its formation, it is vague in nature, not clear, vaguely formed, altogether changed. Once it reached at heaven, it altogether changed and coming down like the raindrops, and yet the same. In all forms of rain, the core is the same, the content is the same, without any change, even though it acquires different forms like vapor and raindrops. I descend to lave the droughts. Then from heaven it descends. It comes down. It comes down with certain purposes. To lave the droughts, it gives water to the places of droughts, and it washes, atomizes dust layers of the globe. Love means to bathe or to wash all the atomize. Atomize here means tiny particles, the dust, and the dusty layers of the globe. This is what the rain does. Here the poet says, it comes back to its place of origin with a purpose, and its purpose is to give water to the places of drought and wash and bathe the atomized and dust layers of the globe, and all that in them without me were seeds only. This recognition of the rain that makes it comes back to its place of origin. If it doesn't come, all the seeds on earth will remain as seeds. How? Latent, unborn, hidden, unborn, without taking birth, without sprouting. All the seeds will remain like seeds only. So the rain realizes its obligation to its place of origin. It wants to come back at whatever height it may go. It has the obligation to come back to its place of origin. It reminds the humans our obligations to our own birthplace, our own families, our own place of learning. All these are we are obliged to. We have to come back to these places of origin to remove the droughts, to atomize, to purify it. And forever, day and night, I give back life to my own origin. And in day and night, without any time limitation, the rain give back life to the place of its origin and make pure and beautify it. It always make the place of its origin pure and beautifies it. Beautifies with a lot of flowers, a lot of green leaves, and rejuvenating the entire earth. If it doesn't come, they will remain like deserts without any sprout, without any life. Then come to the last two lines. For song, issuing from its birthplace, after fulfillment wandering, rugged or unrugged, duly with love returns. Here Whitman compares this rain with the song, the poem, the music. The music also like the rain that originates from the depth of the poet's heart, from its birthplace, issuing from its birthplace. It forms without the notice of anybody, and then after fulfillment wandering, once it is formed and issued, it started going from one hand to another. Music will be accepted by everyone. It is the poem of human heart, like the rain to the earth. This poem, this song, this music, that is definitely a rain to the human heart. It will remove all the droughts and dust particles from the human heart. At the same time, the poet says, rugged or unrugged, duly with love retains. If we approach a poem, a song, a music Some people with care for, and some giving no heed at all. In both cases, the poem, the song, the music really rejuvenate that heart. Wrecked or unwrecked by the listener, the reader, it duly with love returns. The poem does its obligation. Duly with love returns. It comes back to the poet, the reader, and rejuvenate his heart. It removes all the sorrows and all the droughts from his heart. That is the role of poem in human life. That is what the poet wants to convey through this poem, the voice of the rain. It is actually the voice of the poem. It is written by Walt Whitman. Now let us check some poetic devices used in this poem. Look at the first line here. And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower. In this line we can see apostrophe. The poetic device of apostrophe is used here. Apostrophe means addressing a person who is not present there. Here, who art thou? Not a person is there, and the poet is addressing to him. Which strange tale give me an answer. Here translated, I am the poem of the earth. Look at this line. I am the poem of the earth. Here we can see the use of metaphor. Definitely saying I am the poem of earth. When this auxiliary verb of being is used to compare one with another, we call it a metaphor. If the poet say that I am like the poem of the earth, if like or as is used, then it becomes a simile. But when it compares directly as, that is, I am the poem. For example, I am the rose. I am the rose. When we say I am the rose, we use rose here as a metaphor. I am like a rose. This is a simile. The difference of these two lines are, here we definitely says that I am that, and here we are comparing I am like that. That is the difference. If you say that something is that, it is metaphor, and something is like something else, it is simile. Then another poetic device used here is personification. What is personified here? The rain. The voice of the rain or rain is personified. So when human characteristic or traits are attributed to an inanimous being, it is called personification. Now look at the another. Altogether changed and yet the same. Here we can see the poetic device of antithesis. 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 Antithesis means the comparison of opposite ideas. Opposite ideas. It brings a contrast. That is changed yet the same. That contrastive ideas put together in a single line. So we can call it as antithesis. And here also in bottomless sea, the poetic device of or literary device of hyperbole is used. Hyperbole means exaggeration. Exaggerating things. When we exaggerate something in a poetic or literary piece of writing, it is called hyperbole. Here bottomless sea. Sea cannot be bottomless. So it is exaggerated. So hyperbole is the. Let us check another. Look at this phrase. The soft falling shower. Here the poetic device of imagery is used to give a strength and depth to the description. The poet here uses the soft falling shower in the place of a gentle rain. So imagery is used here. Parenthesis. When a line or two is put in bracket, it is called parenthesis. The literary device of parenthesis is used there. It can also be called digression. Because this part of the poem is not related with the conversation between the rain and the poem. It is an open comment by the poet made. It doesn't have any relationship with the central idea of the poem. Simply it put within the poem to suggest to the reader that this is what as a poet he wants to tell the reader. So these are some of the poetic devices used in it. Even though it is only a 12-line poem, it is very interesting to read. Read it, understand the meaning, and then write the notes and the poetic devices used in it.